now, we are going to dive into another very engaging session and shift gears and explore the innovative food landscape. Our next panel discussion is on food, the new consumption frontier. Joining us on stage, please welcome our panelists, Arjun Vaidya, co-founder of V3 Ventures. A round of applause, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our panelists for the next session. Arjun Vaidya, co-founder of V3 Ventures. Sanket S, founder of SCANDALous Foods. Harshal Morde, director at Morde Foods. Ajay Mariwala, managing director of Food Services India. Murali Krishnan, co-founder and CMO at Wow Momo. And chef Harpal Singh Sokhi, our celebrated celebrity chef. Let's give them a warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and due respect to the panelists about to take the stage as well. Requesting our panelists to please join us. I'd call out the names once again. We're thrilled to have with us today Arjun Vaidya, co-founder of V3 Ventures, Sanket S, founder of SCANDALous Foods, Harshal Morde, director at Morde Foods, Ajay Mariwala, managing director of Food Services India, Murali Krishnan, co-founder and CMO at Wow Momos, and chef Harpal Singh Sokhi, our celebrated celebrity chef. Let's give them a warm welcome to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, please, as we welcome these culinary innovators, and they will serve us some insights into the future of food.
जब तक रितेश भाई नहीं निकलेंगे तब तक हमारा सेशन स्टार्ट ही नहीं होगा. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, esteemed guests, panelists, and thank you again to the Mumbai team for having me back at TiEcon. This is, I think, my 4th time here, so really excited. I started, by the way, on one of the side stages, and last year I got promoted to the main stage. The panel has remained pretty similar, right? Like we were on a panel together 2 years ago with Sanket, with Chef Harpal as well, so really excited to be here. Today we're going to talk about an important topic. We're going to talk about innovation in the food landscape of India. Food is about 50% of our spend on GDP, and we've got a very interesting set of panelists to talk to us about changes across the ecosystem of food. We're going to talk about the restaurant business. We're going to talk about the food service business. We're going to talk about QSR, and we're going to talk about quick commerce as well and the impact that it's having on the food landscape. So very excited to deep dive with all of you. Before I start, I wanted to say that we have a power-packed panel in front of us. We have Chef Harpal, we have Sanket, we have Harshal ji, we have Ajay, and we have Jasmit ji. And maybe we'll start actually with each of us giving a 1-minute intro to the audience about the amazing work that you do specifically in the area of food, and then we can deep dive into the questions. The Mumbai team has told me that a lot of you guys have questions for our esteemed panelists, so we'll leave 5 or 7 minutes at the end, but we can maybe start with Chef Harpal, and we'll end with Chef Harpal's trademark. We're going to keep that a surprise, but Chef Harpal, please.
Hello. Am I supposed to say something? Yes. Hi, everybody. This is Chef Harpal, and I am a chef. नाम ही मेरा शेफ है, तो हम तकिया कलाम लगा के ही घूमते हैं और किसी को संकेत नहीं देते हैं कि कोई ये सोच पाए कि ये शेफ नहीं है. तो खाने बनाने की दुनिया से मैं आता हूँ और करीब 35 साल गुजार लिए मैंने अपने जीवन में खाना बनाते बनाते. आज भी बना ही रहा हूँ और यही मेरा परिचय है. मैं अपने आप को बड़े गर्व से कहता हूँ कि मैं हिंदुस्तान का एक नामचीन बावर्ची हूँ, जिसको लोग मुझे प्यार से शेफ़ कहते हैं और आजकल सेलिब्रिटी शेफ़ कहते हैं. बट मैं अपना परिचय बावर्ची शेफ़ हरपाल के नाम से रखना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि ये जो चीज़ मुझे मिली है, जो छोटे शहरों में पहले बड़ी दिक्कत होती थी, लोगों को बावर्ची नाम सुनते, जिन माता पिताओं को दिक्कत होती थी, क्योंकि ये सोशल स्ट्राटा में वो गिना नहीं जाता था कि बावर्ची कहने से कि फैमिली का परिचय जो है वो नीचे हो जाता था। इसीलिए मैं आजकल जब भी अपना परिचय देता हूँ मैं कहता हूँ कि भाई मेरा परिचय बावर्ची शेफ़ हरपाल रहे तो ज़्यादा बेहतर है, क्योंकि हिंदुस्तान अगर गांव में बसता है तो बावर्ची शब्द वहाँ बहुत उत्तम तरीके से लिया जाना चाहिए, ताकि उन परिवारों को वो दर्जा मिले जो शायद मेरे माता पिता को दिक्कत हुई थी बोलने में उनके दोस्तों को कि मेरा बेटा बावर्ची है।
Super, thank you, Chef Harpal, and you are the only person who could bring my wife on a podcast. We convinced her to cook with us on a podcast
Yes.
3 years ago, so you have
Yes.
that privilege. Next to Sanket, Sanket is a good friend of mine, has been a massive ecosystem enabler in the food space, other than running his own startup, Scandalous Foods, where I'm very biased to say it's doing very well because I'm an investor. But Sanket, thank you for all the amazing work that you do for the food ecosystem. Just a quick intro, please.
Thank you, Arjun, for always inspiring the whole ecosystem and always being a great supporter. So, hi everybody, I'm Sanket S. I'm founder of SCANDALous Foods. No, we don't sell MMS clips for a living. We are a one-stop shop for popular Indian sweets for the restaurant industry. And we are working towards becoming the biggest Mariwala in the unplanned post-meal impulse purchase space of mithais. Since I'm sitting on this stage, I would also like to take this opportunity. So, by the way, I've been in the food space for 15 years now. I founded Urban Spice in 2011, grew it to make it a large food OOH company, and finally exited that in October 2019. I would like to take this opportunity while I'm sitting here to thank Mr. Ajay Mariwala. He's been a mentor to me for the last 10 years, and a lot of my business has shaped up because of the mentorship that he's given me over the last 10 years. And since he's on stage, I didn't want to miss this opportunity to thank him. Thank you.
Super. So we'll move next to Harshal sir. Harshal sir has been a pioneer in the space of chocolate, and we have some exciting questions for you on what's happening in the world of cocoa right now, but would love a quick intro, sir.
So greetings to all. Harshal Morde. I am the second generation in Morde Foods as a business. We are a 43-year-old organization, Indian chocolate and cocoa manufacturers serving the B2B industry for last 43 years. So we largely serve the bakery, horeca, biscuit, ice cream, confectionery, snacks, QSR space. We are the chocolate behind the doors, whether it's a chef's kitchen or whether it's a home kitchen and the refrigerator. So that's what we do since last 43 years. Thank you.
Super. And we'll move next to Ajay sir. Of course, he's been a mentor to Sanket, who's been a mentor in turn to so many food founders. Both Harshal and Ajay sir are in the back end or the B2B segment. He's been a pioneer in the spices, seasonings, and flavor segment. So a quick intro, Ajay sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon. As Arjun and Sanket said, I have been an entrepreneur in the food space and have built up multiple businesses and divested them. I also belong to a prominent entrepreneurial business, multi-generation business family, as I'm sure all of you know. So we are 5 or 6 cousins all running independent businesses. Presently, I run a business called Food Service India, which is a horeca supply company. We supply the broadest spectrum of food solutions to hotels, restaurants, caterers, education establishments, hospitals, and so on. And we provide not only the goods, but also services such as menu development, training for the chefs and mixologists, creating seasonal menus, and so on and so forth. I just divested a company called VKL Seasonings about 18 months ago to our joint venture partner, Firminish, which was a leading seasoning company of India. Thank you.
Super. And last but not the least, Jasmit bhai, of course, founder of Tibbs, the inventor of the Frankie. What I've grown up on, his famous Scandal Point outlet was just across the street from my home, and started when my dad was in college, and so multi-generational Vaidya family enjoying your product. Love an intro from you, sir, as well.
Thanks. Good afternoon to all of you all. My name is Jasmit Tibb. I'm fortunate to be from the family, like we very proudly say, we've been rolling with love from 1969. So my father invented the word Frankie, and I'm the second generation. We've just been blessed. I call myself a very blessed family. We have reached millions and millions of hearts through the Indian palate. Now we've explored international market. We've got outlets in Dubai. This product has become a cult. It was started by my dad in 1970. It's grown, and it's grown in generations. I'm told it's a legacy brand, and I feel very grateful to all the people who've been having Tibbs Frankie and who continue to love us. I can't say that's all we're doing now because Tibbs has ventured into a lot of food products. We've got into becoming snackatarians for a lot of corporates. We do a large chunk of Tibbs now does a huge events. We've tied up with all the big event companies. So we're trying to reach out to people now with the emerging ecosystem. We're trying to reach out to people. But we are maintaining one thing, which is the original taste. We do not shift. We still maintain the word when everybody has a Frankie. We want people to say, I love Frankie, so will you.
Super, and now going to be a next pickleball champion of India as he's promised me, but really excited to be with all of you on this panel back at TiEcon talking about food, about the trends in the industry and about Dhanda. I love the catchphrase of TiEcon this year, Dhanda first. So we're going to dive straight into this conversation. We have varied panelists in various parts of the food ecosystem. We're going to try to piece this together over the next 20 or 25 minutes. I want to start with you, Harshal sir. There has been a crazy volatility or upward shoot up in price of cocoa over the last couple of years. There have been so many graphs I've seen. There have been chocolate companies that have repriced, stopped selling products. So before we start diving into industry insights of what's happening in the industry in India, what is happening with cocoa prices now and where is this going to go?
Okay, so just a brief background to it. Way back in March 24, or let's call February 24, the chocolate prices, the cocoa bean prices were approximately around $3,500 US, which shot up to $10,500 US in a span of, let's say, 5 months. What triggered this?
Have you seen that rise ever in your 43 years like this?
This is once in a 70-year event which has taken place. It's a black swan event for the industry, leading to a lot of different cycles, let's say inventory cycles, working capital cycles going for a toss, everything happening. This has happened due to a combination of El Nino weather, diseases on the ground, declining trees, and at the same time short stocks at the end of most of the manufacturers. This has led to the spiraling rise. It did reduce from 10,500 to 7,000 for a moment, and now back to again 11,500 peak and back again at 8,000. This volatility is primarily, like I said, because of the weather, one. But two, I feel in the supply chain, the farmers are one entity which were demanding more in terms of their better share of what they were doing to the supply chain. And I foresee going ahead, the floor for the cocoa bean price has changed. This will at some point settle down anywhere around $4,000 to $5,000 per ton. So easily the world is going to eat chocolate at double the price. That's in a nutshell, unless you want me to elaborate more on this.
No, thank you so much for sharing that with us, and we'll deep dive into now what's happening in the chocolate industry in India and the evolution as we go forward in the conversation. But I wanted to move to Ajay sir maybe for the next part of the conversation. So from the outside, as consumers, we're seeing something which I've never seen before in my life in terms of the choice of food available in QSR, in restaurants, in food delivery. At the touch of your fingertips, you now get Korean and Lebanese and Italian and Mexican food, which we didn't get 10, 15 years ago, right? And with all of that proliferation, growth, there is a changing cuisine, a changing expectation in the mind of consumers. And with that changing expectation, with the changing amount of sort of restaurants, new cuisines, new operators that come in, there is also in your industry a lot of change, right? In the back end of flavoring, of seasoning, of what consumers want, of what trends are there. Indian consumers don't necessarily want only Indianized flavors and spices now. So can you talk to us about what you've seen over the last 10 years happen in the back end of this whole revolution of food and restaurant QSR that we've seen in India?
Sure. So yes, as Arjun mentioned, I think the everything is available at one click right now in terms of cuisines as well as in terms of the convenience. So I think it's a no-brainer. It's a function of two, three things which is necessary to understand to get the context of what's happening at the back end. Because of Indians, as you all know, are I think the largest group of global travelers now, ahead of the Chinese because of the post-COVID and so on. So there's a massive number of people who are traveling out of the country, many of whom doing it for the first time. India is also, the tourism within India is largely Indians traveling within India. So there's also a lot of movement of people within the country exploring different parts of the country. So first and foremost in terms of, because what has happened is what we eat, when we eat, where we eat and how we eat. All these four things are changing and that is what is affecting the back end. So as a result of this combination of travel, as a result of the changing social fabric, as a function of the prosperity, people want not only international food but also domestic food of multiple regions, and that is where the whole opportunity comes. There's enough scale and scope possible for anybody. But at the back end, therefore, what this requires is a highly flexible, very agile and very dynamic supply chains, along with very strong partnerships with supply chain partners, as well as very good quality of analytics to be able to predict the demand and be able to service the demand. So predominantly a combination of, I would say, yes, there is a huge opportunity arising in terms of different types of cuisines and therefore different types of ingredients, but also challenges posed by the fact that people want food within 10 minutes, or people may want food from a cloud kitchen in 30 minutes, or people may want to be able to pick up food on the way home, and of course they may also want to cook it at home. So there are different types of solutions people look for, and that poses the challenge for the supply chain, which is where one has to adapt to these challenges.
I think a very important point which I actually missed, which is I was talking about the proliferation to international cuisines, but I think Ajay sir said a very important thing, that also regional cuisine, regional Indian cuisine is becoming a very, very big theme, and I'm an investor in a company called Dil Foods that is riding this wave very strongly. I wanted to move to Jasmit bhai now. I wanted to ask you, sir, look, Tibbs has been synonymous with the word Frankie. Last time I said you guys brought Frankie to my life. You said, no, we invented the term Frankie, and that's something I didn't even know. So, of course, it's a brand that has withstood the test of time. And so I wanted you to maybe talk a little bit about the journey of Tibbs over the last decade, because the last decade has been a defining period in the company's journey. And of course, there was some disruption with COVID, but post-COVID, the company came out much stronger. So that was question number one. And question number two, consumer preferences have changed as well, right? Consumers want different kinds of Frankies, different products, different sizes. So what's happened in that period since my dad was a customer, then I became a customer, now my daughter is soon to become a customer as well of Tibbs?
Thanks, Arjun. See, like I said, we are blessed. The only thing which hasn't changed is the quality and the taste. We have never compromised on that. So the journey in a synopsis, I'll tell you, is we were more, the simple formats of stores before COVID. We were running it as a family business. And what we were doing right and wrong, maybe right at that time but wrong for this time, was we were only concentrating on offline. What has changed post-COVID is a lot of online has started. When the online started, it was important for us to focus on packaging, focus on the shelf life of the product, focus on the sustainability of the product, the freshness of the taste. See, when you say you're a legacy brand, you also carry a chip on your shoulder where you have to have a lot of responsibility for catering to what people need. You just can't sell for the sake of selling. It has to be in, a lot of, if I may use the word, it's quintessential to have the taste when somebody's eating a Tibbs Frankie. So for that, we evolved into systems, we evolved into back-end integration, we evolved into getting more tech-friendly, which pre-COVID we were not. In 2018, we corporatized Tibbs. We no more are a family-run business. We got all the systems in place. We got everything to launch to become even more bigger brand, even more powerful brand. What we also focused on, like Sir just said, is the supply chain. What we also focused on is if our back end is being outsourced, if we go for outsourcing, is the quality being maintained. What we also focused on is scalability. That means logistics played a big part. That means temperature controls. All that scientifically, we got our own food tech department. We got in our own labs. So we've just trying to move ahead with time so that, Tibbs Frankie is not just a tasty product, but we're also focusing on the sustainability. We just launched India's first plant-based protein wrap, which is called Proti Roti. In fact, that got noticed by the US government, and I was invited by the US government to study plant protein in Seattle. So I just got back from there. So yeah, we are moving ahead with time, but we're in everything we launch, like you rightly said, people expect various flavors in a Frankie, but they do expect, their expectations remain the same when it comes to taste and quality from Tibbs.
I think a sort of ongoing theme through the conversation I'm seeing is that there is evolution and there is growth and there is change, but there is still that OG quality product and OG timeless product that exists in the market as well. And I wanted to move to Chef Harpal. I just heard that Chef Harpal was shooting for 15 hours yesterday and is still here with a big smile and a full energy. So thank you so much, Chef, for being with us and having this amazing conversation with us. Chef, I wanted to ask you a question. You are one of the first people to have fun with food, to have fun with recipes. You took food to television way back when, and we grew up watching you on TV as well. Then TV moved to YouTube, YouTube moved to Instagram, Instagram moved from 5-minute recipes to 1.5-minute recipes, and you're back on TV now. So I wanted you to talk about, through your experience, since you're an OG in media in relation to food and the impact of food, what has happened in the last decade in terms of media, in terms of content in relation to food? Now, if something goes viral on Instagram, everybody wants to order that, right? And those trends come and they go, and are they fads? So what's really happening from your vantage point in the content ex-food ecosystem?
So when it comes to content, I would say it's a little scary thing if it goes like a rocket up, okay? And then it becomes difficult. So there have been many street side vendors who skyrocketed overnight and then shut shop.
Because some influencer put an Instagram reel on that.
Yes, and it did not work because when we run restaurant chains, for example, we were a little careful about seeing that how things go viral in a slow way. Having said this, there is one pertinent question that is always there. It starts from the homes. If you have children at home, the children always come back and ask, "Aaj khane mein kya hai?"
Aaj khane mein kya hai? Always.
Always, right? Same thing and same question is time and again heard by the wait staff in a restaurant or in a QSR. Aaj naya kya hai? आप उसको 10 चीजें बता दो, he will go back to his favorites. And amongst all these things, while innovation keeps happening, the taste is paramount. And with social media, you have to kind of, I would say, carefully use it in such a manner that things become Instagrammable and draw traffic to your restaurant. But when traffic is there to your restaurant, because of certain things happening on the media, you have to smartly work in the back end. And you have to cut, I think, somewhere you have to cut or stop when there is too much of, pressure on you to handle such a traffic and say that, okay, let customers go back. So when I opened my first restaurant during COVID itself, once COVID 2 passed away, we were probably one of those restaurateurs who said that, okay, let's create a new restaurant and do storytelling restaurants, Arjun. So my restaurant is not about Indian cuisine or Chinese cuisine or Western or whatever. I call my restaurant Karigiri as a storytelling restaurant. And every dish has a story which belongs to somebody and who actually owns that space. It could be my mother, it could be my father, it could be a legacy restaurant across the country from where I've drawn a recipe. It could be a legacy supplier, like I get great syrups from Bikaner, and these are floral extracts. And I incidentally happened to shoot at his restaurant. I found that very good 15 years back, and I used that in my restaurant. So smartly, we kind of converted this into a story space and started telling stories to people. Because people want to hear, oh man, this is good, this is what I like. So Tibbs, like for example, has a story for itself. Morde has a story for itself. Ajay sir has a story in creating the Horeca space. Sanket is creating a story in his own space. So we created a storyline of our dishes. And people loved it, While you are dining at a restaurant, you want to enjoy, you want to, kind of think through the dish properly. And we smartly used the media space in such a manner that, okay, the face of a popular chef is used, but the story of the dish is also conveyed. And also it becomes Instagrammable through pictures and through smart usage of crockery, cutlery, and that is what has helped my new restaurant chain, Karigiri, in all these spaces. So when you use social media, I think you have to be smart enough in using it. And you cannot run away saying that, I have a legacy brand, so I don't need, media space in today's world. I definitely need media space in today's world through smart people. And I have to smartly play that game so that I am there for a long run. And amongst all these things, remember one thing, that is what I keep asking myself and keep doing myself very strongly, is that taste is paramount. आप कुछ भी कर लो, आप कहीं भी फोटो लगा लो, अगर टेस्ट सही नहीं है तो दोबारा नहीं बिकेगा वो.
And I think what you said makes so much sense, right? Everyone wants a story. And food is a feeling.
Yeah.
It's something you consume, but it's also a feeling. So great points there. Sanket, I wanted to ask you, you've seen the food, FMCG, QSR industry over the last 15 years now that you've been a part of the industry. And we have this crazy new thing that's come now, which is quick commerce, and that's great for FMCG, for packaged food products. And then all of those guys are starting to make and deliver food in 10 minutes, right? As someone who's been in the industry for so long, what's happening in quick commerce? What's happening in this 10-minute food delivery? Is it sustainable? Is it real? Can it scale? What is your view from your vantage point? And of course, as someone who is providing a mithai and a dessert product to a lot of these players, where are they thinking?
So Arjun, I mean, obviously, some of these quick commerce players are like huge clients of ours. We work very closely with.
So you're biased. You're not going to give us the real picture. No, I'm kidding.
I will try to give it to you. So we work very closely with Zepto. So in fact, so when you talk about the food, the 10-minute food delivery, I would not call it FMCG quick commerce. It's just a cloud kitchen delivering food in 10 minutes.
Correct.
So technically, if you see any cloud kitchen, like even Jasmit Baiji's cloud kitchen, delivers food within 10 minutes. So if he's delivering your food in 30 minutes, his kitchen is making the food in 10 to 12 minutes, and then there is the rider taking another 20 minutes to deliver the food to you. What is happening differently with these quick commerce players is that they have disrupted the delivery ecosystem. So while...
if you deliver in 10 minutes, your kitchen preparation time has to be 2 to 3 minutes only, right?
So the kitchen delivery, the prep time is usually 7 minutes for most kitchens. Where the time is taken usually is that a Zomato, when an order is placed on Zomato, the Zomato delivery boy goes from a hub to the restaurant, and then he picks it up from the restaurant and then comes to your house. In case of the Zeptos of the world, the delivery boy is standing right at the kitchen. So as soon as the food is prepped within 3-4 minutes, the guy delivers. So the difference is not in the food prep time really, but in the time taken by the delivery boys. So, people like Harshal Morde and Ajay Mariwala, they've created such products which help the food industry to prepare food within 4 to 7 minutes, right? So I don't think, I don't think anyone in the quick commerce space is doing anything unhealthy with the food. It's just that they've disrupted the logistics system versus disrupting the food ecosystem. The frozen food has always been there since decades. I mean, McDonald's and the Burger Kings and the Domino's of the world have grown to 22,000 plus outlets on the back end of a frozen food ecosystem or on the back end of a back-ended food ecosystem. So I don't think that is anything new that the quick commerce ecosystem, quick commerce food players have introduced. It's just that they've adapted to that. They've only disrupted the logistic ecosystem is what I would say.
Got it. And Harshal sir, I wanted to ask you a question now. There's a lot of conversation in the VC ecosystem, overall consumer landscape, specifically in food, that this thing called premiumization is happening. And this thing called premiumization means consumers who are spending 10, 20, 50 rupees on a chocolate are now going and wanting to spend 200 rupees on a chocolate. They want to pay for quality. They want to spend on quality. Is this new? Is this a new trend that you're seeing with all your clients? Are consumers wanting better? They're willing to pay for better? And is this trend here to stay?
So I think there is a strata of people at the top who don't mind spending. Like Ajay ji also said, today everybody is traveling globally. They acquire tastes. They aspire more. So when they are in their country back and when they want something like that, so and if it's available, if it's made available by the entrepreneurs in India, it's here to stay. But this strata is largely at the top. So let's say in chocolate, if I say a no added sugar or a high content cocoa based chocolate or very fine flavors, let's say for example bean to bar with a nice story of whether it is Indianized or whether it is particular to any particular geography, all these trends are going to stay. Also, many people are subscribing to the concepts of organic, rainforest alliance or vegan. I think people want to be more aware, people want to experience more, and people want to associate themselves with anything that is higher in the ladder in terms of taste and flavors. So the pockets which can pay are not a lot if you look at our population, but still there is a lot in terms of value there.
And Ajay sir, you know, Sanket was talking about these innovations in delivery time, in what consumers want, in terms of time required. Are you seeing that the back-end supply chain is having to create new and changed innovations to cater to this quick service requirement, quick wants of consumers, maybe new want of consumer for healthier, cleaner products? What's happening in the supply chain to cater to the consumer needs in terms of innovation?
Yes, undoubtedly, to where the prep time is down to 7 minutes, and even that's debatable in some cases, because to actually deliver in 10, in some cases the prep time would be even lesser than that. So definitely that has triggered a whole series of changes in the back end. The Indian cold chain is still, as we all know, is still and Harshal will also know that far better from his industry, but the cold chain still needs to get better. But yes, there has been changes both in the cold chain as well as in the way food is served. To be very honest, it's virtually impossible in most cases, I would not say all, and I won't speak for anybody, but to deliver prepared food in 10 minutes, a disproportionate amount of those meals would have to be frozen and reheated and served. They cannot be cooked from and prepared and served. It's not possible. So a lot of technology has to go in, and I'm talking about technology. That doesn't mean necessarily there are preservatives, but processing technology goes into preparing foods which are possible to heat and serve and still taste very good. So there is a, as to your point, Arjun, there's changes in the supply chain. There is changes in the transport. There's change in the way the food is prepared and served. And there's change in the way the food which is being prepared and served is being delivered to the provider of the food in terms of the technology which is used to keep it fresh. So lot of changes, but last but not the least, I would say the most critical change for all of us, which affects the delivery company, the producer, as well as the supplier, is the agility and the analytics which are needed to predict this demand, because it's a nightmare to figure out where demand is going to come for what. As Chef also said, there was some social media buzz and suddenly you'll see a surge in demand in a particular product. So that is an additional kerosene in this challenging fire of meeting these requirements, but the industry is responding to it quickly.
And Jasmit sir, question to you now. As there is this whole conversation on health and cleaner ingredients and cleaner eating, where do you see your brand going? You talked about Proti Roti, right? That's a sort of massive innovation that you have made, and a lot of players in your space have not. But as you see the next 5 or 10 years, will you see us moving towards more health? Will indulgence still remain? Will it be a mix of that? Will there be certain customers on this side and certain customers on that side? And how are you as a brand going to look at the next 5 or 10 years of your product offering going forward?
Great question. See, first of all, I'd like to reiterate what Chef said, that in India, the taste is paramount. So
Taste always wins.
Taste is paramount. Chef, I'm with you there. When we look at the next 5 years, we look at having a larger umbrella in the wrap segment. We're having a larger umbrella in serving food without the wrap. So we are looking at health. When you say health, when we have a complete meal, what I was taught in IHM, and I hope it was right, is that you need protein, you need fat, you need carbs. You need everything to make it a complete meal. Well, as of now, the existing product, which has been survived the test of time for 53 years, has all of them in it. We've gone into Proti Roti because we are seeing the need of people focusing on protein. We're launching keto wraps now because of the need of the hour. We are evolving is what we see, but what we are not doing, and we are not going to do, is play with the Indian palate. Because the Indian palate is very delicate. It comes up with a lot of upbringing. It comes up demographically. It comes up geographically. It is also comes up with a lot of religious beliefs. So we have to be very careful in what we evolve to. But what we're definitely doing is we're giving a large bouquet of Frankies for people to have. You can choose between a regular. You can choose between a Proti Roti. And coincidentally, as we speak, 2 days ago, we launched something called Night Rapsters. Night Rapsters is multigrain, with salad, with kebabs. So it's on a little higher low fat and a perfect midnight snack. So we're looking at evolving to whatever trends come up in the future. We're using technology, like Sir said. We're trying to get our ingredients, the procurements of the ingredients, the source of the ingredients are being checked. We're going all the way back to the farmers to see how they are, I can't use the word, contract farming yet, but we're going back to see what is the source of the products, what is the soil being used. We're going into that kind of experiment. We're trying to get the health aspect first. Also, we're looking at sustainability in the future.
I think important point, and I think this is one of the industries where, while many things change around us, taste doesn't change and taste remains paramount. So on that note, actually, Chef Harpal, I wanted to ask you a question. I remember our conversation we had in Goregaon while filming that podcast, where you said that, look, a lot of people are trying this fusion, innovation. Actually, butter chicken doesn't need any innovation.
Correct.
The recipe was great. It tastes great. People like that recipe. So in this world of modernization, in this world of fusion, in this world of people trying to do things, you are one person who says some of these things don't need change. Right? And some of these things did not require change. You don't need to add mozzarella to pav bhaji. It's not needed, right? So what's your view on tradition meeting modernization? Is there a requirement of fusion, if any?
So I'll go back to my restaurant chain again, Karigiri, which has a mix of both. And the good thing about my life is that, I get a lot of customer interaction. And customer interaction at the ground level, hearing what is their trouble point, Like, for example, I kept hearing mothers saying, ki, Harpal ji, हमारे बच्चों को ना पिज़्ज़ा वाला फ्लेवर बहुत पसंद है, उनको हम इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट में नहीं लेके आ सकते क्योंकि वहाँ पिज़्ज़ा नहीं मिलता। तो हमने कहा चलिए हम पनीर टिक्का मार्गरेटा पनीर टिक्का बना देते हैं। हम ट्रेडिशनल पनीर टिक्का नहीं बनाते हैं, हम मार्गरेटा पनीर टिक्का बना देते हैं। तो बच्चों को पसंद आना शुरू हो गया वो। And we started doing that. We just went little off the beat. We took a product which is Indian, we took a flavor which is Italian, we took a taste which is popular, and we just blended it right. And we did many such dishes which were clear-cut, innovations. And that innovation is first we tested ourselves, and for that, the prime thing is, as a chef, you should know how to handle ingredients, how to blend ingredients. If you know that well, then I think you have won it. So I am probably blessed in that subject that I take a lot of pain in understanding ye chalega, ye nahi chalega, ye chalega, ye nahi chalega. But when it comes to traditional mutton curry, butter chicken, a good naan, it has to be absolutely to the T best. Otherwise it doesn't work. It has to be there. It has to be, you have to keep innovating things. You have to have the desi formula also right in it, because desi is the in thing. आप चाहे मतलब जो मर्जी कर लें. I tell you, in the year 1993, when I moved from Bombay to Nagpur as an executive chef of a hotel, and there I had this Mr. Sharafs who were making springs for Mercedes-Benz, and that was their first wedding. And in Bombay, through all the best Italian chefs, I was told that cannelloni cannot be grilled. It has to be just rolled and put in a, chefing dish and put sauces and just do. And Mr. Sharaf came to the kitchen with me. Harpal, I am a Marwadi. मुझे ना taste चाहिए यार. ये cannelloni को तू और मजेदार कैसे बना सकता है? मिर्ची डाल सकता है? मैं कहा डाल सकता हूँ. मेरी क्या प्रॉब्लम है? बोला हमको तो वही पसंद है. तो हमने उस cannelloni को grill कर दिया. हमने उसमें मज़ा डाल दिया, हमने उसमें स्पाइस डाल दिया. And believe me, when I came back from Nagpur to what is today Taj Land's End, I was the exec chef there, and I started doing the same damn thing in front of the Italian chef, and I said, sir, you taste this and you taste your product. Now tell me what is the best product. And he started loving what was a grilled product. So this is the most important thing, and I learned that very well. So when you do fusion for a market which understands well. Again, coming back to the point, do fusion, taste is paramount. It should be finger-licking good. आप traditional है तो उससे कुछ छेड़खानी नहीं कर सकते. A butter chicken needs to be a butter chicken. A paneer butter masala needs to be a butter masala. And India needs things with spice, and that is what sells.
And again, the same theme of the Indian palate being so unique. And Harshal sir wanted to add something before we wrap up for today.
Yeah, so sorry, I will go to the one question back on quick commerce, not on this question. I had few thoughts to add. So I think quick commerce is a great opportunity. I think it's an expanded market. We all go to the restaurants are coming to our home. I think in a certain manner it's going to replace our home food. Any entrepreneur will have to think about a few things. The metrics on which a quick commerce customer gets attracted to order something. I feel he is looking for convenience, he is looking for replaceable value and value for money. These three things will drive a quick commerce, the 10-minute delivery stuff. And there is a lot happening. Employment opportunity is getting generated. There are some innovative solutions in packaging which are getting generated. Recently, I heard about a pizza pack for a brand, by a brand called Ventit. It keeps the pizzas, crusty and fresh to be consumed when it is delivered. So these are the few thoughts. I think in the food space, the market is going to expand. The restaurants are coming home. That's what I wanted to share.
It's been an amazing session, and since we've run out of time, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to ask Sanket to help us wrap up or wind up the session and summarize the learnings that we had from the session before we close.
So, before jumping into that, one small correction, Arjun. So, if you're selling pav bhaji in Gujarat, then you need a lot of mozzarella there. You can't sell pav bhaji without cheese in Gujarat.
Cheese or mozzarella?
yeah, I mean, they can put any kind of cheese and they'll do it. And I would actually want to just, to conclude this, I would want to take a leaf out of one conversation I was having with Chef Harpal long ago when I was at Nasik with him. So he said that, India talks newness, but consumes familiarity. So, on Instagram, you'll have all these, various kind of Sundays and some chocolate Maggie going viral. But at the end of the day, India is going to consume the classics. And I think what we need to learn from the global cuisines is how to make our food glamorous. I think the problem with us is that, हम लोग Indian food को वो घर का खाना समझते, घर का, like they say, घर की दाल, घर का मुर्गी दाल बराबर. So, we need to glamorize our Indian food and, make Indian food great again. I mean, it's already great. It just needs to be there at par with the global cuisines.
Lovely, lovely thought to wrap up the session, making Indian food great again. We've had a power-packed session talking about innovations in the food industry, from cocoa prices to B2B innovations to the Indian palate and more. A big, big round of applause to all our panelists for sharing their insights and making the panel so well-rounded. And to Thai Mumbai again for having this amazing event for us and bringing us back every year. Thank you for bringing the
I think we should end this session with Arjun talking about how a VC, how becoming a personal brand helps in being a VC. So I call him the Harry Stebbings of India. Or in fact, I should call Harry Stebbings the Arjun Vaidya of the world.
I wish I could share more insights, but Kushal has been looking at me and giving me eyes for the last 5 minutes. So the great part about TiEcon is that we have started on time and ended on time most sessions. So we're going to stick with that. Thank you so much for being patient and not having lunch and waiting for our session to get over. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely, lovely rest of event.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a louder round of applause, please, for our panelists for that delectably engaging discussion. Gentlemen, please do stay on stage. I'd like to invite Mr. Harsh Mehta on stage to present the token to our panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Mehta as he joins us on stage to do the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together one more time for our panelists. I'd like to say thank you again to our moderator for the session. A big thank you to each of our panelists, Arjun Vaidya, Sanket S, Harshal Morde, Ajay Mariwala, Murali Krishnan, and of course, Chef Harpal Singh Sokhi for joining us here. Thank you so much. We appreciate your invaluable insights. So ladies and gentlemen, while the presentation is happening, I'd like to invite onto the stage Sheenu Jawar from Thai Rajasthan and Suresh Raju from Thai Hyderabad. They're going to enlighten us on the Thai Global Summit and Thai Angels. Let's give them a welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a round of applause.
Thai Mumbai, how's the Josh? Let's have some cheer from the audience. What's the energy like? A very, very hearty congratulations to the leadership of Thai Mumbai, to Ranu, Apurv, and to Naveen and the entire committee for putting together a fabulous TiEcon. But I want you to imagine the power of the one chapter that brings this kind of a TiEcon to you, and the power of 66 chapters from across the globe putting together a summit on entrepreneurship. What do you imagine it looks like? The Thai Global Summit is part of the legacy of Thai, and I, as the president of Thai Rajasthan and also as one of the trustees on the Thai Global Board, invite all of you to be a part of the Thai Global Summit of this year to be hosted at Jaipur on the dates of December 3rd to the 5th. So it's going to be a fabulous summit It's going to put together people from all across the globe, put in the muscle power, the bandwidth, the investors, the startups, the industry, the corporates, and make Rajasthan truly be showcased as the investment destination. Invite all of you to be there. And I also take this moment to invite Suresh Raju from TiE Hyderabad, who is leading TiE Angels as its lead. Suresh, over to you.
First of all, thank you to TiE Mumbai for hosting a wonderful conference here. Very excited to be here. I just want to take 2 minutes of your time to talk about TiE India Angels. As TiE, being in 65 different chapters globally, has started to do a little bit more on the angel investing side, especially in US, TiE Boston, Southern California, Silicon Valley, Atlanta have been investing for a while. We are trying to enhance the same angel program here in India. With the TiE's ecosystem of 25 plus chapters in India, especially in tier 2 cities like Surat, Mysore, Pune, and so on, we have access to entrepreneurs. I think TiE should leverage the mentorship and networking that we already provide and the ecosystem that we enable with angel investing. So I'm happy to lead this effort for TiE India Angels in the coming year and want to work with all the charter members and the startups to make this a reality. I think the positioning for us, at least to begin with, is say that if an entrepreneur is looking for 4 crores of capital to raise, if you have raised the first 2 crores, come to TiE for the second 2 crores. We will fill the second half of what you're looking to raise and be part of the ecosystem to develop, help you access markets. As you know, there are 2,000 plus charter members across India and 4,000 plus across the globe. So it's a great network for the startups to leverage and build the business. So for the second half of the capital that you're looking to raise, look at TiE India Angels. With that, you'll see a lot more information about India Angels coming through the press and through the different chapters in the next 2-3 months. Please keep an eye open for it. Very excited to take India Angels forward as part of TiE. Thank you.
Thank you.